It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So begins Charles Dickens's novel, A Tale of Two Cities. And it feels very appropriate today. Have you ever been in a situation where you wished for something, if only I could, then I would? I know I have. And one of the things that I've often wished for is that I would be able to get to a quiet place, like a retreat, somewhere in nature, where I might be able to pick up the guitar, maybe learn to draw, which is something I'm terribly uncomfortable with, and maybe write that book that I've been longing to write. And that's me. I had all of these pictures in my head about what would happen when I was able to get to a place that was close to nature, where it was quiet, and where I might have the opportunity to do that. And when we were forced into a time of self-isolation, it was our opportunity, Walt and mine, to come to a place where we could be remote, close to nature, and a time to do all those things. And we got here and discovered, for me, that I just could not get my act together to do those things. It was as if I had these to-do lists, things that I was going to do when I had the time, and I just could not settle myself to do it. In fact, quite the opposite. I was quite unsettled. And then the fact that I wasn't doing what I expected to do and what I had promised myself I would do only added to my anxiety. Has that ever happened to you, I wonder, where you've promised yourself something, and then when that time comes for it actually to come to fruition, you find that you're not actually able or ready to do it, that you simply don't have the bandwidth? I was confused by this and phoned my friend Martha Creek. And she put it into perspective for me. She said, yes, that's normal. Now you'll hear later, and you'll see a slide later, that will remind you, as my good friend Barb Good says, that normal is just a setting on a washing machine. But what Martha mentioned is that we're in a place of immense change, immense shifting. And we need to give ourselves permission to be in that space. We are now living more than ever in this place of both and. This place of, I can be in this quiet place and I'm not doing what I expected to. I'm in this quiet, calm place, and I know that there's anxiety and crazy going on in places all around the world. We're in a place where we can be both calm and emotional, both sad at times and quite joyful at times. For some of us, this is a time where we have never worked as hard, while others are resting and able to take a bit of a break, perhaps for the first time in their lives. We've got children who are learning at home, and we have adults who are now learning and discovering things that they didn't even know that they could do. So there's this feeling of anticipation and even excitement about some of the new and innovative ways we are being creative with each other. And there's this immense sadness as we recognize that people are in a great deal of emotional and physical pain. It's almost like there's this dissonance, and how do you make sense of these disparate polarities that are moving around within us? That is living in the both and. Martha shared this graph with me. It is, when Walt gets back from getting water, he'll move it to this screen.
Sorry.
It is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs basically is a pyramid or a triangle, and it starts at the bottom with physiological needs. Things that we need just to survive. We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing. Then we move up the rung of this pyramid to safety and a sense of safety. Then, when our need for safety and our physiological needs are met, we move to being able to meet our needs for love and belonging. And when those are met, we have the opportunity to move into esteem, self-esteem, exploring what makes us who we are. And that moves to the very tip of the triangle to what we call self-actualization. And what I realized when I saw this slide is that the writing and the guitar playing and the art for me is the tip of the pyramid. It's in that self-actualization portion. But where we are as a society right now is in the place where we are craving safety, emotional and physical, and just trying to make sure that in the meantime our physiological needs are met. So is it any wonder that we may be experiencing some emotional turmoil? Things like finding it hard to focus, finding that it takes twice as long to get something done, finding that you need to go and get the toilet paper. It is a way of ensuring that your physiological stuff is being taken care of and that keeps you feeling safe. It may be the reason that you are more irritable right now or craving junk food. It may be that this is why you need to nap a little bit more. It may be that this is why, even though something seems so simple and so self-evident, it can be a challenge to actually get it done. I know that some of those and so many more are true for me, and I'm guessing that they are true for at least some of you out there. I'm guessing that there are some of you out there who are thinking, wow, how come I haven't cleaned my house? I've had all this time, and all I can do is sit on the couch and maybe watch Netflix or watch the news or just sit on the couch. And it can be a really difficult time until you can recognize that what's going on is that that's all you really have the capacity to do at the moment. It is a time of immense shifting. So, how do we live in this place of both and? we live in this place of both, yes, I'd like to get it done, and no, I'm not doing it today. Both, I am feeling dreadfully sad, and there are times when I'm quite enjoying this experience. Both, I am irritable some of the time, and other times my heart is just open wide with compassion. You get the idea. We live in all of it all the time, but it just seems at the moment to be even more expanded in this time of coronavirus crisis. So I'm going to offer 4 steps to help us navigate in this living in the land of both and. They are to recognize what is happening, then to allow what we're feeling to emerge, and then to move forward from that towards more of what we want. And in the process, throughout it all, to ensure that we are protecting ourselves and others. First, recognize the emotion. The emotion is energy in motion. And there are times when we are going to feel angry and frustrated and helpless, because that is to be expected at this time. And so if we can recognize that what is going on when we are feeling those feelings, those deep and uncomfortable emotions that we aren't always used to, and that may confuse us and unsettle us, let us just recognize the beast for what it is, a normal reaction to what is going on in our outer and our inner worlds right now. They characterize this feeling of uncertainty will characterize itself in words like should, always, never, and many more that are all judgments. And if we can give ourselves permission to move to the next level, which is to allow the emotion, then all of a sudden we can shift. And instead of using the word should, wherever we hear the word should, let us put the word sometimes. As Barb said, there is no normal. And yet it is to be expected that we will at times feel very frustrated, that we will feel very uncertain, that we will feel very sad. And so in those times, instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I should be doing more, I should be more loving, I shouldn't be so angry, I shouldn't feel so much fear. What if we allowed ourselves and gave ourselves permission to be the humans that we are in this human experience and say, sometimes I feel angry, sometimes I feel irritable, sometimes I feel fearful, sometimes I don't feel like doing anything, and then other times I feel energized. You see how just by doing that, by allowing ourselves permission to be right where we are, it relaxes, it calms. And when we're calm, we're much more able then to approach our lives creatively, with compassion, and then take thoughtful and meaningful reaction and movement towards where we want to go. Normal is just a setting on the washing machine. There was a normal. There will be a normal. But there is really no such thing as normal, because our whole nature is to change. Normal equals change. It's just that right now it's unprecedented. And it will calm down. Just know that we are always changing. Every day is a new day, and our challenge is both to want to stay where we were and go back to normal, and we want to embrace whatever the new might be. Again, that flow between status quo and evolution. Try replacing should with sometimes. Think of how many times you might be beating yourself up by saying things like, you always. Now you can tell that little voice inside your head, yeah, I do that sometimes. And know that it's okay. There's no need to be guilty. There's no need to feel shame. There's no need to feel blame. You're human. That's what we do. We live in the both and. Now, when we acknowledge and allow those emotions, we then can move to the next step, which is to allow those emotions to happen and move more in the direction of the life that we want. Now, these do not have to be massive changes. In fact, massive changes can sometimes be so overwhelming that we end up just falling right back to where we were. So instead of saying, next time I will definitely, and I will always from now on do, what if we just said, we're going to try? Instead of saying I'm going to sing for 2 hours, what if I gave myself permission to sing for 10 minutes? What if instead of going for a mile-long walk that never happens, we end up just allowing ourselves to go around the block? The idea here is the empowering feeling of both and, of yes, we can have those feelings, and we can move into a new reality. What would it feel like for you if next time you beat yourself up with these nasty things that you say to each other, or for that matter, if someone else says something nasty to you, what if you were willing to look at it a little differently? What if you were able to look at it and say, how true is this for me? And what would I be if I didn't believe that this was true? If I didn't believe that I was lazy, indolent, name any one of millions of words that you might use against yourself. What if I just allowed myself to be? And what can I learn And what can I stretch myself to do which will move me more into the independence and interdependent lifestyle that I might want? What will move me towards more loving, more compassionate, more understanding, more accepting, more peaceful? Take a little step and recognize that these feelings that you might be having of joy and grief happening at the same time are to be expected. We don't need to stay in the misery, and we do want to acknowledge that sometimes we feel it. And then the final step: protect yourself, protect others. The Hippocratic Oath, which is taken by doctors, is first, do no harm. First, do no harm to yourself, and do no harm to others. And that may mean that there are times when you need to take a break. You need to set a boundary with yourself about what your mind chatter might be doing to you. You might have to set a boundary with some people around you and take a walk. Whatever it takes so that you are staying physically and emotionally safe. That is an important thing for you to do. Because in Maslow's triangle, safety is where we are. The intersection between physiological needs and feeling emotionally and physically safe. Ask yourself, what weakens me? Do less of that. Ask yourself, what strengthens me? Do more of that. Martha says, prioritize that which keeps you healthy, happy, and sane. Prioritize that which keeps you happy, healthy, and sane. Or, as Dr. Bonnie Henry says, be kind, be calm, be safe. We can live in the both and. We can embrace it all. There is no spot that God is not. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Allow the emotions. Expect the emotions. And then move forward through the emotions. Allow them to be released and then move forward to express more of what you want. And through it all, protect yourself. Stay safe. Stay sane. Stay healthy. Stay happy. And that is how you can live successfully in the land of both and. We take this into a time of quiet. And I'm going to read a poem for you. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes and just let these words resonate And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced. Some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently, and the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindful, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and to heal the earth fully as they had been healed. Can we allow ourselves to feel the entire range of our emotions? Can we give ourselves permission to rest? To rest in the both and. Can we treat ourselves with compassion? Can we take time to be quiet? To allow ourselves to be human beings, not human doings. It is in that time, in that space, where we expand, where we can go deeper and touch the wisdom and the strength within us, where we can access deeper understanding, where we can expand our love for ourselves and for others. This is the best of times and the worst of times. And so is so it is.
Feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul, go deeper, my soul, go deeper into my God. Right